Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to SSG Speaks, the podcast that takes you inside the walls of Camelot. Meet the knights that made Sword and Shield gaming what it is. So pour yourself a flask of your favorite mead and join us for an inside look at the fine folks that sit at the round table.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SSG Speaks. I have no idea what number this is, but we're here with Jett. This is 8? Okay.
Yep.
Number 8?
We're here with SSG Jett. How are you, sir?
Pretty fantastic.
Glad to hear it. You're on vacation right now, aren't you?
Yes, just came back from a week out at a place called Clear Lake. So that was about as normal as I felt in about 6 months.
Nice.
Just because of all the other stuff going on.
Yeah, no kidding. We also have J-Man on the line, as usual.
Yep. Hello, everyone.
Gee, two of my bestest friends, yes.
Let's get right into the meat of this.
Okie doke.
When did you join SSG and how did you find it?
When? I've got to say 10 years ago. It's got to be at least 10 years.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I think I got an Xbox. I was on PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2. I've been a gamer my whole life, and then I got an Xbox because I wanted to play Halo.
Join the club.
Wanted to play, and by that time, Halo 3 was out. I'd always wanted to play it. I'd played original Halo on PC, but anyways, and for a while I just did stuff. Didn't have Xbox Live, just had and I'm like, well, I want to play some of this multiplayer stuff, and the people I was meeting up with were less than stellar.
Timmies is what we call them.
Yes. And so I met some people on the Xbox Canada. They had a forum at the time, and that was okay, but not they wanted to play Call of Duty more than Halo, and I wanted to play Halo. So I had signed up for Twitter following Bungie, and I think Bungie was tweeting about different clans, I would call them. At that time I was calling them clans and different groups that were doing stuff, and I had always heard bad things about them, and I went, oh, well, there's this one called TTL, Tide the Leader, and their thing was called Midworld, and I went, well, it wouldn't hurt just to poke my nose around and take a look.
And here you are, 10 years
and
later.
And then so I did that and met a bunch of people, and
yep, the Bungie rush. That's what we call it.
Yeah, and then I got what is it? Seduced over to the dark side from Midworld.
Some hush money involved there, I think, probably.
Well,
probably.
I mean, it's Jett. How could we not do without Jett?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so I looked it up, Jett. You were inducted on May 3rd of 2010. So
yeah, I have that picture graphic of the message you sent me on Xbox Live.
That's right.
I snapped that picture, and I've got that someplace. Is it on this computer? Yeah, it might be.
Nice.
So just over a decade.
Just over a decade. Happy 10th anniversary to me. Yeah.
That's right. So what is the genesis then of your gamer tag?
Oh my gosh.
Or several gamer tags you've had then?
Several gamer tags, I guess. Originally when I started out, I'm a big sci-fi nerd.
No.
No. Okay, just get that out of the way. Big nerd in general, but big sci-fi nerd, big
I think we're all brown coats here.
Yeah.
So.
Yep,
oh hell
absolutely.
Yeah.
You can't take the sky from me.
That's right.
I'm afraid to wear that T-shirt. I'm afraid to wear that T-shirt on an airplane. That the TSA might get mad at me. But I'm tempted. I'm tempted to wear it just to see what happens.
Do it.
One of these days. But yeah. No. I don't know. I think It was really strange. When I was looking at starting up for different services like Google and stuff like that, or even getting an email address other than what I had for my home stuff. I was thinking, I was a big Star Wars nerd too, so I was thinking, Jett Darklighter or something weird like that, and it went, that didn't go over that well with me. So I went, well, what do I started thinking of stuff, and I went, well, Jett, and then I went, well, how about Jetstream? That sounds kind of cool. So that was my.
So are
Gmail.
you a fan of the Transformer?
I never even knew that there was a Transformer called Jetstream.
Oh.
Until you told me.
That's awesome.
Until you told me. I think that was a little. I'm not sure if that was after my time, like Transformers.
No,
I'm 50. I'll be 56 in December. So I'm just wondering, in the 80s,
Yeah,
when I was a teenager. I was
a
teenager.
Cartoons, then.
I wasn't watching cartoons. I think in the 80s I was watching girls, not cartoons.
Heyo.
But anyways, no. So Jetstream, that was my Gmail, and I went, well, when I got to Xbox, I think it was different forms of Jett or something Jett on PlayStation. They really didn't have any online services at that time. When I signed up for Xbox, I went, oh, I need a gamer tag, and I typed in Jetstream, and said, nope, you can't have that. And I'm like, well, okay. So I did Jetstream 204, which is my area code, and that was the start of that. I think that's when I got online, and eventually came SSG Jetstream.
Yep.
And then for a short, I think around the 7-year itch time frame, I switched my gamer tag to SSG Black Knight because tis but a scratch.
Yep.
And then nobody ever called me that.
Well, I mean,
No.
it's hard, man.
Yes, it is hard. Nobody ever. So everybody's just calling me Jett. So I went, well, I wonder if I can just be SSG Jett, and I couldn't for a while because somebody on Xbox Live had that. But when they released a bunch of Xbox Live IDs, I went, well, let's try it. Tried it, and bink, it was there, and I took it.
That's awesome.
And that became the genesis of my current. And why not? Why try to be something else?
Yeah. We've had a couple people like that you're just never going to get away from your gamer tag.
But even that, I don't dislike it. Jett, having that as a nickname, and I appreciate that. People, all the members and everybody that I've met, call me Jett. Nobody calls me James, but I'm going.
It's
difficult
difficult for me to call you James.
Yep, and that's the long and winding story of my
the tale, as it were.
Yeah.
So just so you know, I'm no Transformers expert, but it looks like Jetstream changed her name to Whirl at some point.
Oh, okay.
You are now no longer a Transformer.
Okay. I think there was also a New Mutant called Jetstream or something like that in the Marvel universe. I think they were trying to. I think it was New Mutants had.
There was a Marvel character.
Yeah, there was a Marvel character called Jetstream. I think the New Mutants were Professor Xavier's school, and I think they had something called the Hellions, which was the what's her face? Wow, I can't remember her name.
I mean, I know Psylocke was in the Hellions at one point. I'm not sure who you're trying to think of.
The lady with the the blonde one the telepath, Emma Frost.
Oh, Frost, yeah.
Yeah, that's terrible. I'm X-Men through and through, and I couldn't remember that. I'm like, why can't they remember
so
that? So
you say.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at the 4 X-Men books I've got sitting on my shelf here, and all my X-Men pop figures that I have. So.
Yeah, we're big fans over here.
So how many
got JDC?
So there was a Jetstream in that, which was a Marvel character. Didn't look up much that further than that, but.
No, I'm not familiar. Newer Marvel character, I'm not super familiar.
Yeah.
Speaking of your pop figure collection, though, how many of those do you have?
Oh my gosh. Officially, let's look at the app. Because of course I have a Funko Pop app.
Oh, nice! It catalogs them for you?
Yes, it does. Which is really amazing. Cool. That's pretty. It's actually pretty cool because then it's like, okay, how many of these do I have, and what my collection? Wow. Okay, I have 75 Funko Pop figures. You know how much the total value of these pop figures is? It says here.
No one knows your address.
Yeah. No, it says the total like it I guess what they're selling for, it rates them.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it says $3,402.
Hey, that's not bad.
And I'm like, what?
I love apps like that. It's like a comic book price.
Yeah,
guide.
that's if they're in the box, right? And none of these are in the box because although I love my wife for Father's Day got me all the Fantastic Four. No, I bought the Fantastic Four figures a while ago. She bought me Mole Man, Galactus, Silver Surfer, and Herbie from the Fantastic Four comics. So those are all pretty badass.
Wow.
And the figures they're actually, they used to, just pose the figures without them not doing anything.
Mm.
Now they actually have the figures where they're actually doing something. Like the Silver Surfer looks like he's flying on his surfboard. And,
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And things like that. And yeah, so they're actually
I've got a number of the older ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing. They're not doing anything.
I named my one wheel after the Silver Surfer.
Nice.
Because you have to pick a name in the app, so I named it Nornrad.
Right.
Dude, that's so nerdy. I love it.
Yeah, my first
That's
skateboard.
amazing.
My first skateboard was called the Silver Surfer.
That's awesome.
Nice.
So moving back to gaming.
Yep.
And SSG. I got to know. You've been with us for 10 years now. Can you pick out a single moment that stands out from the past decade involving SSG?
Yes, the first time I got to meet you guys in public, to meet J-Man. Yes, that was the first. Well, did I meet you before I met Kaz? Kaz, I don't think was part of.
Vic was first.
I think Vic was first, but he wasn't part of SSG then.
Yeah, you met Vic.
I met Vic
at
and Code Monkey and
Bolt
Bolt Rabbit. I went with Code and his wife. Met them there, and then Kaz came out for dinner with us a couple times, and then Volt Rabbit messaged us, and we went for dinner, met his wife, and went for dinner with him, I think the night before I left. That was probably so the first person I met from SSG was J-Man at the St. Louis airport.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
I walked right by him, didn't know, because I didn't know him, and he turns around and he yells Jett, and then as soon as he talked, I knew who it was.
I was not expecting you to be taller than me.
Yeah, 6'3".
Yeah,
you're a tall dude.
I'm a tall dude. Yeah.
So how many members of SSG have you had the opportunity to meet? Do you know?
I was actually trying to think of that because I'm listening to one of the other versions of the podcast. I think that question was asked.
Yeah.
Let's see. Have I been to all the lands? Atlanta, St. Louis, Chicago.
You didn't make Vegas, did you?
Yes, I was in Vegas.
Oh yeah, you were in Vegas. Dumb.
We can't talk about it. Can't talk about Vegas.
No, can't talk about
Vegas.
Oh, that's
right. That didn't
I was going to say St. Louis, Chicago, Atlanta, and then Vegas. I didn't make it back to Chicago for Heathen and Ms. Heathen's wedding, or for their, and that was unfortunate. Yeah. But so I've met
probably more than half the clan at this point.
Yeah, I'd have to look at a roster and see who. I'm looking at the thing. I'm at the Discord here at people on the nights that are listed. Deadeye, I've met. Option Disabled, I've met. Run, I've met. Simian Chaos, I've met. Gambit, I've met. Irish Girl, I've met. J-Man, I've met.
Go through that all night.
Yeah,
we've had 98 people total, so I bet you're close to 50 if not there already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you've met more people than most.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hell, this guy flew out to California to officiate my wedding. That's how cool Jett is, by the way. Just in case anyone had any questions.
Yes, I'm going. For you, you are probably between the two of you, but Gambit, you are a brother. Both of you guys are brothers to me, but I've said it before, and I would do anything for either of you guys. But when you asked me that, I was so honored, and yeah, there was
awesome.
No way I would not be there. I think I said when you met Ashley, I said, if you guys ever get married, let me know because I'm going to be there.
Little did you know you'd be officiating.
And
how did that come up? How did the genesis of him being the officiant
of Minister Jett? Yeah.
Well, that was actually pretty funny. We my wife and I were talking about people that we cared about and people that we would want to be such an integral part of our day. And we actually both said his name at the same time. She had met him in Chicago, and I'd been playing with him for years. And every time I was online, she'd always say, "Hi, Jett."
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it just naturally came about. We were both thinking it. It was just made sense.
Which was, I feel honored for you to say that. Thank you. I'm going. Yeah.
Thank
Ashley
you for flying 3,000 miles to
Hey, and brought my wife with me, and she loved it too. Yeah,
and she was lovely.
Yeah,
I'm glad to have met her.
We had a fantastic time.
Where was the wedding at? It was outdoors, was it not?
Yeah, it was.
Your
It was actually
your
on my
mother's
parents' property.
Yeah, your parents' property out in
Moore Park.
There we go. I couldn't remember the exact spot. The only thing we got lost when we were there is trying to find the dinner at that Mexican restaurant.
Oh.
Because the sign was behind some building, and we're driving around and it's dark, and it's like you're like, the sign's out. I'm like, we can't see it.
You talking about Lalo's?
Yes. Oh, and that was so good. Yeah, that was so good. I'm glad we finally made it there. But
yeah, me too. Everybody needs to eat at Lalo's. If you're anywhere near Moore Park, California, eat at Lalo's Mexican restaurant.
Oh, it was so good. Yeah. Yep. So I said I would become the what is it? The Universal Church, and I filled out all their fine paperwork. It's a fine establishment. Looked at and thought for Remy and Ashley, I would be something willing to do.
That was awesome.
Although being a Catholic, growing up a Catholic, and don't need to talk about religion, but my mom would probably freak out if I told her I was a minister for the Universal Life Church.
She's not a podcast listener, right?
Yeah, no, she's not. She's not.
We won't tell anybody.
Exactly. Oh, that's
actually, it's kind of funny. Jett officiated the wedding, and SSG Kinetic, who is now emeritus, did a salt ceremony for the wedding.
That's right.
The two people that did anything for the wedding of any substance. Actually, Booker was the best man.
Yeah, that's right.
SSG Booker.
Yes, Booker was. Yeah, I met a bunch of people there. I met Kinetic. Yeah, I met Booker. I met Kinetic. And I met a bunch of, and I'm still friends with a bunch of people that I met down in California.
I know, it's so weird when I see you posting on someone's Facebook. It's like, oh yeah, they did me.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, there's a couple. I think, what is it? Oh, we went up for the stag night, and yeah, there's a picture. I've got a picture before. I think it's Remy, myself, Booker,
Larry. Booker, yeah. Yep.
Is it just the four of us?
I believe so.
I think
SSG boys.
Yeah, I think so. And we got a picture, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, we went out to a club in Hollywood.
Yeah.
That sounds like you guys.
It was so much fun.
It was so much fun, but it was weird. Yeah, I was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was weird.
Oh man! All right. Well, we are going to be derailed this whole podcast.
Okay. Sorry.
I can guarantee that for sure with the three of us here.
Let's get back on the track. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about. It sounds like with the kind of organic nature, the way you found SSG through Twitter, through the Bungee Rush, through TTL and the Midworld forums, and then me stealing you away into SSG. Was that your first clan experience then, or have you been?
Yes.
Part of a
I was
group
never part of a. There was a loose group of friends on Xbox, but it wasn't there wasn't really a clan or anything like that. There was a lot of people from down East Montreal in Canada, hung out with them, and they seemed the most amiable people that I met, so I hung out with them for a while, but it wasn't really a clan or anything. So yeah, meeting the people at Midworld, and they were a clan, and then finding out about SSG with Sword and Shield Gaming. I'm also a Arthurian nerd too, so King Arthur. Always thought of myself as more of a Sir Percival as anything else. But so King Arthur, and I thought that I went, yeah, that would be cool to be a knight of the Round Table. I went,
right.
So
cool.
Knights of the Round Table.
A lot of people here have, like Remy had just kind of alluded to, but we have brought friends, family, coworkers, all that kind of stuff that, husbands, wives, that kind of stuff. They've brought people to the clan. You just talked about some friends you used to game with, but I don't know that I have played with any one of your friends that's outside of SSG. Like, are none of your friends or coworkers really into gaming that in the way that you are?
No, usually when I mention anything new to gaming, I get a funny look, and that happened for years because, like I said, I've been gaming for a long time, and when I would mention something about gaming at work, I would always get a dirty look or a funny look, and I stopped mentioning it at work. And to be totally honest, I'm a pretty solitary person. So any people that I had friends in high school, but I don't know any of them anymore. They've all moved on, and I've moved on. And so no, and really outside of, no, I don't think, other than people in SSG or in any of the other groups, like TTL, or even any of the people on Xbox right now are people who I met through either being part of SSG or part of being on Midworld and all the heyday of Halo 3, when you'd go on any given night to play Halo 3 and there was 30 or more people playing Halo 3. Never
miss those days.
Yeah. And so it was playing with everybody under the sun. Met so many people there that I went, I don't need to go anyplace else really, because these were all friendly
Right.
people. I didn't have to worry about somebody, although people do go a little bit, people get upset during games, but yeah, it wasn't the same thing when you're playing against random people, all the trash talk and all that stuff. There wasn't that, and I appreciated that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've had that same sentiment like at work and stuff too. Like, I mean, I do play with people, or I do work with people that are into gaming and stuff, and certainly a lot people that are a lot younger than me even. And I still am hesitant sometimes to bring up the SSG part of it, because as well as I might know some of these coworkers and stuff, it's like, but I don't know if know if I know them well enough. I don't know if I know them well enough to say that they're SSG material, because it's like it's still its own culture and family and stuff, and so it's still a little trepidatious for me to bring someone new into that, right? Like, it just seems.
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree. I'm going, and plus, I don't want to share my family with anybody else. SSG. I never thought, and I'm going to get totally serious for a second. I never thought playing video games would give me the family that I have now, which is Sword and Shield gaming. I can't believe in the past 10 years that I've been on Xbox, the experience that I've had. I'll say life-changing. It has been. Awesome. Meeting people, like people say, "Oh, what do you mean? Why are you friends with people on Xbox Live? You're never going to meet those people." I've met people around the world. There's even people like where not Loki. What was his? He's back in India now. Well, there's Zap. Zap is in New Zealand. Odin.
No.
Odin's in.
I thought Ice Reaper was out there.
Ice Reaper's in.
No,
Ice Reaper's in Louisiana, unless he moved down.
I thought he
moved
went
down
to Asia or something.
Someplace for the oil fields. He's back now.
Oh, okay, got it.
But all the people, there's just people all over the world, and yeah.
Group hug.
Yeah, group hug.
Virtual hug.
Yeah.
Social distancing hug.
Social distancing hug. Yeah.
The ultimate social distancing hug here.
Right.
Well, yeah. That Remy and his lovely wife were 8-hour drive from my drive from my house recently. They were in Medora, North Dakota, which is about 8 hours from Winnipeg, Manitoba, where I am. If they would have been able to cross the border, I would have had them over here in a second. That's
100%.
Any of you guys, Jay, anybody in SSG is always welcome at my house with notice.
Nice little caveat.
Somebody just walks up and knocks on the door.
Ding dong. Surprise him.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Oh, and just to not get any hate there, we road tripped. We didn't fly.
Yes.
We were very careful about traveling to North Dakota from California.
Oh yeah.
Just to put that out there.
Yeah. Well, we just came back from a week out at the lake, and we were very careful about that because it's a town site. What are people like out there?
Yeah.
If stores were too crowded, we didn't go in, or if we thought it was going to be, we had masks with us, and I have no problem wearing a mask when I go out. But yeah, it was nice to go to the beach.
You believe all that science?
Science. Oh, no, I won't say the B word, but I'm a science guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So earlier you mentioned, we're jumping back to gaming because we're pros at derailing.
Yep.
You mentioned that you went through the PS1, PS2. So how many consoles have you had throughout your life?
Atari.
So that's where you started.
No, actually, technically, I started with a Commodore PET computer.
Nice.
Commodore PET computer playing Zork.
Wow.
Which was a text-based
game. We know what Zork is.
Yeah, playing that, and then because I got from a school in a high school that was selling computers, and my parents bought it for like $50, and I had that. Graduated from that to a VIC-20 and to a Commodore 64. And when I got a Commodore 64, there was something called disk duping, where you could punch the other side of a double-sided disk and have twice as much storage.
Yeah, that was the difference. It was kind of ridiculous between a
so
single-sided disk and a dual density.
Yep, so we did that, and we had
hole punch.
Disk. Yeah, we had Not pirating is not approved stuff, but yeah, I had a lot of games back then, so I did that. And then when I got married, my wife bought me as a Christmas present, first Christmas present, a Super Nintendo, which had Link, Zelda: Link to the Past, and Super Mario
Zelda games. Well, one of them.
Yeah. And right after that, I had appendicitis, so I had 2 months of convalescing with an abscessed appendix to sit on the floor and play nothing but Super Nintendo because I couldn't.
2 months to
me. Exactly. So I had that, and then I think actually the PS1 I actually won at a conference. Go figure. Wow. That's the luckiest I've ever been. So I won that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I had that and played that, and my son was still young, so it didn't. I have one child. Well, he's 24 now, so he's not a child. But when he was young, we tried to find some different games and things that I could play, and then things that he could play. And we graduated from the PS1, I think, to the PS2. And then he was getting older, and we were both talking about playing some of the other games. Because I guess on PlayStation 1, there wasn't the background, the Xbox Live, the community and all that stuff on PlayStation at that time. I'm not even sure what it's like now, but
it's still not great.
Yeah. So we decided to, there's Halo on Xbox, and we both my son and I wanted to play Halo. So we got an Xbox 360, and that's
the rest is history.
The rest is history. Went from Xbox 360 to Xbox One, and that's led me down the path to today. But yeah, I've been gaming for so long. It's like really when I stop and think about it.
Yeah, the fact that we all started gaming together on the 360 is just kind of crazy too.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like that long ago.
Well, no, it's only in the past 10 years, right? Like when did?
The 360 launched in 2005, maybe 2000.
I don't know.
And I think it probably 2006. I think the year after it launched is when probably that Christmas is when we picked it up. And then I think for a few months I didn't have live or anything like that, because I was just trying to figure everything else out. And wow, the transition in controls from the PlayStation to the Xbox, it took me about 2 or 3 months to figure that out, because I don't know how people do it these days. But if I had to go back to a PlayStation controller, not that I would love to, but the controllers are so different between.
I detest the PS controller.
Yeah. Well, I don't detest it, but I just if I had to change back and forth, I could probably do it, but I just don't do it that often. So.
Yeah. I'm able to kind of go back and forth. I hate the PS3 controller. Sucked. The DualShock 4 I think is a really great controller.
It's better.
Yeah. That's the newer one.
Yes, that's the newest one. I don't know that I have a preference with the sticks being aligned or opposite of each other.
Yeah.
Like on the Xbox controller. I mean, I think my favorite controller is still probably like the current Xbox controller, as far as comfort and stuff.
Yeah.
Especially the Elite. You have the Elite too, don't you, Jett?
I had the Elite until, let's see, the rubber on the grip started to come off. One of the bumpers broke. Replaced that.
Well, you can't throw it against the wall.
and then the drift on the sticks. Wow, I thought it was one stick that was drifting, and both started drifting. Like basically, drift is when you let go of the stick and the cursor moves up the screen, or like I would be playing Destiny, for example, let go of the cursor, and my Guardian would walk off of the tower and kill himself. because it would just the drift would just, yeah, it was just so weird. And it's like, okay, I looked into getting it fixed. It was almost as expensive as buying a new Elite controller.
Oh, I bet.
And so I just went with the normal Xbox controller. I had actually bought one to go with this new laptop, and then when that one went south, I started using that one on the Xbox.
Nice. So I guess we can add that to your list of pseudo consoles then. So now you're kind of into the PC gaming realm too, right?
Oh yeah, yet another one. Yeah. If Halo Master Chief Collection ever downloads and stays on my PC, so I guess while I was gone, this PC wasn't connected to Wi-Fi when I was at the lake, and I turned it on once, and there were a bunch of things that were supposed to update, and I canceled. Yeah, and I canceled them because I didn't have good Wi-Fi. So when you cancel something on Game Pass, like the Master Chief Collection, it uninstalls the program.
Ooh.
All 104 gig of it.
Yeah, you have to pause it.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So basically, when I got back last night when I turned my PC on, everything I was trying to download Audacity and get Discord, and it goes, "Oh, you need to reboot." Yeah, and it did one of these 8 minutes, 7% done, 10% done. Oh, I hate it when Windows updates do that. It's annoying.
Yeah, but the Master Chief Collection looks so good on PC though.
Oh, it does.
I'll have to install it on this computer.
Oh my gosh! Like they just re-released Halo 3, and they didn't do any fidelity updates to it other than like they increased the draw distance and some other things. But
didn't they remaster it? I thought it was the remastered.
It's not remastered.
I thought it was.
It's 4K and HD. No, there's no HDR, but it's just it's all the original assets, but they just look so much better. Like
I was looking at some of the cutscenes, and it looked incredible, but.
Yeah, I just watched the Digital Foundry did a deep dive into it, and they were talking about it.
I watched that. Yeah, I watched that. Or I watched, maybe it was Digital. There was one of the community people and one of the guys that works at 343 were doing a thing a couple weeks ago before I actually left to go on vacation, and then they were talking about Halo 3 being released, and they did a sort of a deep dive going through some of the things and showing the Forge 2.0 or 3.0 they were calling it.
Oh, they updated the Forge?
Yeah,
they've got a brand new Forge.
I don't know what the changes were, but apparently they made some good changes to Forge.
Oh, I'll bet there are going to be some good racetracks coming.
You can put an elephant in Forge now. There's an elephant asset in Forge.
Oh,
and different things like that. So they had Avalanche and they had elephants.
Races, Remy?
They had elephants.
Yes.
They had elephants on Avalanche, which I thought was funny.
Oh, that's right.
By the time you got to the other side on Avalanche, the game would be over in an elephant.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it totally would be.
I just looked up on YouTube. I was watching the 2004 E3 conference when they showed the Halo 2 multiplayer demo with like dual wielding, lock on rockets, stealing vehicles, like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it was pretty.
That's awesome.
I go back and see that.
Halo is really when I met all you guys and really started to I gamed, a lot of solo playing games and maybe a little bit of Call of Duty when I first got the Xbox, but I didn't really like turn on my Xbox every night and find people to play with until I met SSG and everybody in Midworld and all these other groups. Yeah. And that's made it worthwhile to me is that type of stuff. And playing Halo, I still have fond memories of that. I'm going all the tournaments that they used to have, and in Halo 3, and then Halo 4 was okay, and then they did Halo 5, and I think there was, again, sorry anybody who's a Halo lover, I'm a massive Halo lover, but they made some missteps. And they didn't lose me, but they tested my patience. We'll say.
Halo 3 and Halo Reach were such a time in gaming that you could log on any time of day and find a big team battle to join. It was unprecedented. It was awesome.
Yep.
I miss those days a lot.
Well, and I'm joining Remy camp. Remy, your camp. I
Don't
remember
talk about
one of
Reach.
Reach.
Ah,
Fantastic
Yeah.
game. Yeah. Armor lock for the win if you know how to use it correctly.
Everything about Reach is superior.
I was able
Jay?
to flip warthogs with armor lock. I actually armor locked and caused the warthog to flip over and dump.
Isn't that so gratifying?
Yeah, not killing 3 people with an armor lock. Yeah, flipping out their warthog over and
Oh, they were
worked
so
specifically.
pissed at you.
Worked great on. What is it? Not
Ghosts.
Valhalla. I'm thinking Blood Gulch, which is the one.
They're essentially one and the same.
Yeah, I think no. I'm trying to think.
Just an updated version.
No, but the one that had it was the one they used in. Oh, now my brain's.
RVB?
Yeah, Red versus Blue.
Yeah, that was Blood Gulch, and then
that was Blood
Coagulation.
Gulch. Okay, yeah. So that one, there's the hill in the middle, and if they were coming up the hill and you did the armor lock at the right point, they hit the top of that and they didn't know what hit them because they would go flying.
That's awesome.
That was fun.
Yeah. The BTBs in Blood Gulch, Coag, and Valhalla were the best.
Yeah. Even some of the racetracks in there. I remember
all the
race. I wish I've got all that stuff on my Xbox 360. I wish I knew how to transfer it to my new console and pull it into Master Chief Collection. Because
we need to talk.
I've got so many maps.
I lost all that stuff.
Yeah, I've got all that stuff on my Xbox 360, which is sitting on a shelf.
Oh,
I would love to have.
We'll definitely connect after this.
Yeah. But other than that,
I can get those for you, and I can get them for myself. So, in all of gaming, with all the consoles you've gone through, all the games that you've gone through, what is your proudest achievement or feat? It doesn't have to be an actual achievement, but what are you most proud of achieving in game? Or do you have anything that stands out?
I'm trying to think. Achievements?
Well, I mean, have you beat a game that was really difficult for you to beat that you're really proud of, or anything like that? It doesn't have to be an achievement.
I know you've had some pretty amazing monuments in Destiny, getting some of those.
Yeah, some of those things, some of those triumphs. But I would have to say, there's only one achievement in Destiny that I don't have, and that's for a raid, the Last Wish raid. But I've stopped trying to chase those things. I think just getting achievements. I think getting all the achievements in Halo 3 ODST, that was the hardest.
There you go.
I worked my butt off to get 100% in ODST because to me ODST was amazing. Like it was Halo, but it was so different from Halo that it just blew my mind at that time. And it was awesome. It was just such a good game. So
I'm gonna blow both your minds right now. I never finished ODST.
Oh,
as much of a Halo guy as I am, never finished it. The people that I was playing with, I think there were a couple SSGers, I don't know, but the people that I was playing with, I wasn't able to show up one night and they finished the game. I never bothered.
Yikes! So we'll have to guess what they're bringing ODST. Well, the ODST is in the Master Chief Collection.
Yep. It is. So any day, I'm happy to play it.
They're bringing back ODST firefights.
Yeah, they are. Dude, that's going to be so
I'm not
awesome.
sure when they're bringing that back, but I think there was the SSG used Warthog Garage. I think SSG Johnny Cakes, J-Man. I think it might have been Toma.
Johnny Cakes.
Well, I think it was Johnny Cakes at the time. He's Ghost Rider now.
I know. It cracks me up.
I can't remember who, but I remember there was an achievement in that thing for getting, what is it? 95, some kind of 95,000 or some kind of score.
Yeah,
which was
100,000 or something.
100,000 or some weird thing like that. And we did it on that level, and we played probably 4 or 5 hours or more. And we had the buildings full of rocket launchers and warthogs and the motorcycle, the choppers.
I mean, we could just play that level clearly for hours.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was the one it was the zoo. It wasn't the zoo, but that was it. That's what it was based on on that part of the ODST. in the game. And anyways, yeah, getting that achievement, was cool. But getting all the achievements in ODST, I think that's the first game that I completed 100% of the achievements.
That's a good one to do.
Yeah. That's
a nose grind.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, that I would have to say that one.
Nice.
All right, well that's cool. So other than these gaming achievements, what do you like to do outside of gaming? Like hobby wise or for fun?
For fun. That's a great question. I wish I had an answer for that, because I have actually been thinking about that over the past few months, being in working from home. I really don't have any since I started. There's the random things I do. I build, do woodworking and stuff like that, and look after the yard. But I don't really have any specific other hobbies. I read. I'm an avid book reader. That was a couple years ago, but I finally read the whole Gunslinger collection.
Oh yeah, I'm getting the itch to read them again.
But yeah, that massive comic book. I used to collect comic books. That was one thing I did long before I was. Well, no, I was always a gamer, but I guess when I was younger, I collected X-Men comic books, and I have probably already back to like number 80 or somewhere around there, all the way up to just past 300, I think. And then at some point, I think when I got married, I stopped collecting. I don't know why. Just other things became important. Other things became important.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about. Well, not that I'm going to retire anytime. I'll probably retire when I'm 60, maybe, if we can afford to retire. But I'd like to learn how to do something other than gaming. And I think I was talking to one of my son's friends who was a big guitar player. He says he has a bunch of guitars, and learn how to play guitar or something like that. But that was right around the time that the COVID lockdown stuff started.
Yeah.
So I've never touched base with him after that. And so he said, yeah, you can come over and use one of these guitars and teach yourself, or I can teach you some stuff. And yeah.
That's so cool.
I played piano when I was a kid, but that was something my mom wanted me to do, and I wanted to do a little bit, but.
Sounds like a mom thing.
I would rather play drums or guitar.
Yeah.
But drums aren't portable like a guitar is. I can remember going to the beach with my friends, somebody passing me a guitar, and I couldn't play. But everybody would have a few drinks, and you'd start strumming something. That sounds like Stairway to Heaven. Sure it does.
Sure.
or some Eric Clapton song or something like that. It was like, yeah, just start strumming something, because you could figure out the chords and yeah.
So you're a born and bred Canadian, correct?
Yes, 100%.
And you've always lived in the same area? And Manitoba.
Yes.
No, Winnipeg.
Manitoba. Yep.
Wait,
Manitoba is the province. Yeah. Winnipeg is the city. Center of Canada. Okay. Center of Canada. Center of North America technically is the heart of Canada, but the geographic center of, I'm not sure if the geographic center of Canada or North America, I think it's of Canada, is about 20 minutes from my house. Like there's actually a thing in the middle of one of the highways that says this is the geographic center. I think it's the geographic center of Canada. So it's not that far from my house.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of neat. But yeah, I think a lot of the traveling around, I haven't been other places. I've been all across Canada, both coasts. I've been down to the States. I've never been outside of North America. Well, technically, I guess I went on a cruise with my family down to St. Thomas, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and St. Martin, and all those places for my in-laws. My mother and father-in-law was their 25th wedding anniversary, and they took all the family and the kids on a cruise, and we did that. That was pretty cool. So that's the only time I've been outside of North America.
So where would you like to go?
Well, I would love to go. We were supposed to go to the UK in May. My wife and myself had a UK trip planned for United Kingdom, London, Scotland, and Wales. And unfortunately that got derailed with the the COVID pandemic,
state of the world,
which is the state of the world. And so we're definitely going to do that. But yeah, my heritage is from Scotland. That's where my family is originally from. My mom has cousins that are still alive in a place called Inverness, which is just outside of Edinburgh. And
I like the way you say that.
That's the only way I'll say it. You don't want me to lift my kilt?
Nope.
That's crazy to me that you've been restricted to North America, considering the amount of travel that I know you do, because you guys drive a lot, right?
We've driven down
Disney World.
I've gone to Disney. I've driven from Winnipeg to Orlando, Florida 3 times.
That's about what?
Which is a fantastic.
Hours, something like that.
Well, no, it's probably so from Winnipeg to Madison, Wisconsin to, where do we stop? Louisville, Kentucky? No, Louisville? Yeah, Louisville. I don't think that's the correct way of saying it. There's some other, somebody would correct me about that. And then from there to...
Gotta ask Ice Reaper how to say that.
Yeah, in Atlanta. And then I think we stopped just south of Atlanta on our 3rd day. And then from there, straight to Orlando. So usually 3 days to drive there, but 4 days back.
I said 34 hours. That's 32 hours. I was
okay.
So close.
Close. The 4 day is because we stop and do a lot more shopping on our way back, because we go to all the outlet malls. We used to go to all the outlet malls and stuff like that. And yeah, I know. We never traveled. I never traveled outside of North America. I don't know why I never did. I never knew anybody that. I think until I met my wife, I was really I'll have to say a solitary person.
Yeah, it's all right. I don't like people much either. I'm pretty to myself.
Yeah.
Nobody's as cool as me.
Yeah, that's true. But she brought a lot of good changes to me in my life and that type of thing. So that made me more
awesome,
outgoing, I think.
Kind of opened you up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just Googled the directions from Manitoba to Walt Disney World, and Google Maps literally said they cannot calculate. Sorry, we cannot calculate directions. I was like, I broke Google Maps.
Nice.
What? Because it can't cross the border? It's Google Maps.
I don't know.
I'm thinking Google Maps doesn't. That's funny.
Google Maps let me do it just fine.
Oh, man.
It's funny that there's a trip that'll run from Winnipeg that'll take you straight south to, like, through Flint, Michigan, and down. It almost takes you down to Kansas City, and then says, take a left turn and go through Memphis, and then from Memphis down to Orlando. But I guess we wanted to go a little bit more east. I think, I think it's I-75, that runs, if you go east and go to Chicago and down through Chicago and basically straight south. I think it's I-75, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right. Chicago.
And basically down from there, and it takes you through Nashville. Like, Nashville was fantastic. Going to Nashville, we stopped there, and all these different places. It's neat traveling with your family and seeing those type of things.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Just seeing the difference in the continent and seeing the difference in the trees, going from one side of the, you're traveling and it's the Canadian Shield down into, the American Northwest or the Northeast, and then, hitting I think it's the Appalachian Mountains, and then going over that and then ending up in Georgia, and there's palm trees and all the moss coming down from the trees, from the, what is it called, widow's moss or something like that. And then going from Georgia into Orlando, it's like a wall of heat you get out at the visitor center. I remember the funniest thing was my brother-in-law came with us one time with his family. We got out of the cars at the Orlando visitor, or the Florida visitor center, and he got back in the car because he said it was too hot. He didn't want to get out of the air conditioning, and for the rest of the trip, he was anytime we could find air conditioning, he was there. Going through Disney World, he would run from store to store to stand in the doorways where the air conditioning was.
And what time of year was this?
The first time we went in August. Oh yeah, that's a fun story. So the first time I went to Disney World, we got there, we left Winnipeg, and we finally got there and 2 days later, Hurricane Charlie
Oh boy.
hit Orlando, which is one of the first hurricane in years to come through Central Florida and go through Orlando. So 2 days after we got there, we were at Disney World. They said, "Well, no, we're going to be closing the park down early today because we're getting ready for the hurricane." We're like, "Hurricane? What? Oh, you're tourists. We're from Canada. What do you mean hurricane?" So we go back to the hotel and yeah, everything is closing down. All the parks everybody's battening the hatches and stuff like that. And the hotel we were staying in was pretty good. They helped everybody out, and it was amazing though. I can remember the hurricane hitting and then, looking outside and seeing things flying past my window. What was that? Well, that might have been a car, or that was a tree, definitely.
Oh, that's all.
Oh yeah, but that was so weird. And then all of a sudden the eye of the hurricane came over. So my father-in-law, I think my nephew, my son Blake, and myself, we went down to the lobby just to go and see if we could go down there. We went down the stairs because none of the power was on, and just to see what was going on because we didn't know. And we walked out the front thing, and you could see it was completely calm, and the eye of the hurricane around Orlando, and it was so weird. It was like, okay. And you looked at all the cars, and all the cars were covered with, palm, whatever the type of trees are in Orlando, and stuff all over the place. And yeah, that was kind of weird. And then we went back up. It basically kept going, and we got up in the morning and found trees flipped over. The weirdest thing I ever saw was a steel I-beam. They're pretty thick. They, to hold up signs and stuff like that.
Right.
It was twisted like a pretzel, not in one direction, but almost like in 360. It was like twisted one way, then twisted back the other way. I'm like, that looks like a pretzel. That's an I-beam. The hurricane did that. And that was Hurricane Charlie. Yeah. So that was our first trip to Florida. After that, we didn't know hurricane season was a thing.
Now you do.
Now we do. So we went earlier. I think the last 2 times we went in July. It's so hot. Oh my gosh, it's so hot down there. But yeah, we're crazy. We're crazy Canadians. So
man, so you're taking all this time off to go drive around the United States. Have you done as much tourism in Canada as well?
Yeah, with my family now, not as much, but growing up, every summer we went someplace. I've been to both coasts. I've been from Prince Edward Island to Vancouver Island, and everything in between.
In American terms, what does that mean?
All across the country. All across the country. So I think the only city I haven't been to is Montreal, and that's just because I hadn't made it there yet, and I didn't know anybody in Montreal, and that's why I never went there. So, but yeah, I've been all across Canada multiple times. I'm going. Even my dad worked for the railway, so back when I was younger, I think in 1986, I got to take the train from Winnipeg out to Expo 86, which was in British Columbia, in Vancouver in that year. That was when they used to have the big expositions.
Yeah.
So took the train out there and stayed with I had cousins that live out there, and got to stay with them and spend a month in BC and be treated like royalty because my uncle worked for Air Canada, and he was some big mucky muck at the pavilion at Expo. And when we went with him, they thought, oh, well, you must be important. So, and my cousin and I really, really worked that angle that we were important. And yeah,
that's rad. So we're getting to the point of wrapping it up, but I wanted to ask, you're stranded on a desert island. You can choose one item. You have electricity and internet connection, but one item. What's your go-to?
An Xbox with the games pre-installed on it and a controller.
Cheating, but I like it.
Or I really love music, so yeah, some kind of music player. If I couldn't have the Xbox, then it would be something with music on it, because
If you've got internet, the Xbox is a perfect choice, as long as you have a TV as well.
Yeah.
Because you can get music through that as well.
Oh, that'd be awful. You got an Xbox but no TV.
Oh, yeah.
Torture.
Oh, my gosh. Oops. One thing. Yeah, you can only have one thing.
So, one last question for you, Jett. What is your guilty pleasure? As far as movies, TVs, books, whatever it is.
Guilty pleasure. I'm trying to think of one thing. I'm going, a lot of the music I listen to, I'm going, guilty pleasure. I don't feel guilty about any of the things that give me pleasure. That's the thing. I'm going.
Even better answer.
Whether it's music or gaming or reading a book or reading I'm 55. I still read comic books. I'm going, maybe not as much as I used to.
As you should.
I don't think there's anything in life that if you enjoy it, it should be honestly, I don't think it should be a guilty pleasure, because if you get enjoyment out of it, it's, yeah.
Dude, that's the best answer we've gotten yet.
I don't think we can ask this question anymore. We've got like the perfect answer.
Jett just
newsworthy. Newsfeed worthy.
Oh, man.
Oh, I was talking to Frost about that last night. We have to explain that to Frost and Silent Narco, because they don't. What's newsfeed worthy? Because she said something last night. She said something last night, and because I had heard it on the podcast, I went, "Oh, newsfeed worthy," and she goes, "What's that?" And I went, "Oh, how do I explain this?"
Bunch of newbies.
That's right.
Just have them listen to that podcast. That was Toma's, right?
Yeah, that was Toma's.
Well, Jett, awesome catching up with you. Jay, always a pleasure, of course.
Oh, always.
And listeners, thank you so much for listening. And we hope you have an awesome day, night, whenever you listen.
Yep, take care.
Yep, thank you. Take care.
See you, Jett.
Yep.
Later.
Who just clapped?
I did, just to mess everything up. That's the end. That's the official ending.
Oh, it's amazing. Right.